Over 100 years ago, there was a community in the Greenwood District of Tulsa, Oklahoma, of predominantly black residents. It was, by all accounts, one of the wealthiest and most successful black communities in the country, earning itself the nickname of Black Wall Street. The community thrived until 1921, when one of the largest racist events took place as white supremacist terrorists firebombed the community. This story was almost forgotten to time until a commission began to look into it in the mid-90s. Today, the story has gained new resonance in culture, and people like Adriane Jefferson, Director of Cultural Affairs for the City of New Haven, Rogers and Rashad Johnson of the Breed, and Avery Slade Washington, MC, are honoring the Greenwood residents with Black Wall Street Festival in New Haven. The Municipal Voice is the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities podcast in collaboration with WNHH LP 103.5 FM. I'm your host, Matt Ford. As always, be sure to give us a like and let us know what you're thinking in the comments. CCM's Municipal Voice podcast continues to present a key forum on important state local issues. The views expressed do not necessarily reflect the consensus views of CCM or our member municipal leaders. Hey everyone, thanks for joining us this morning. We've got a good crew joining us to talk about Black Wall Street Festival. Before we get going talking about the festival, could you each take a chance to introduce yourself and just give us a little bit about what you do for your respective organizations? Let's start with Adriane.
Yes, hi, I'm Adriane Jefferson. I'm the Director of Arts, Culture, and Tourism for the City of New Haven. And I have the chance and the honor to work alongside the Breed Entertainment to help organize and found the Black Wall Street Festival. In my role, I help to support artists and creatives and entrepreneurs and creative businesses and so many other people in the city of New Haven through arts and cultural activities and workshops and funding and on and on and on. So very thankful to be in my role and very thankful to do the work that I do.
Very cool. And did everybody else come to you at the city with the idea, or was it?
Yeah, it was it's a long story, but it's a joint. If you're talking about the Black Wall Street Festival,
yeah, specifically.
Yeah, I would say it's a joint effort. I'm really good friends with the Breed. I've known them for a long time, and I remember having a conversation with them back in 2020. I think it started, or 2021, around the need for the city to really do more and do more to reach people who still don't understand that the services. There's my child, right? Of course, she would walk in. I specifically told her, don't come in this room because I'm doing a podcast. So should I start over?
No, you're good.
Okay, so so we had a conversation just around like the fact that a lot of the people who were receiving funding or being able to benefit from events or activities are some of the same people, and it's not really captivating a new, broader audience, particularly the Black and Brown community, who really needs resources and services. So it started out of a conversation. And I remember Aaron very specifically saying, listen, like we could do a whole bunch of different types of events to reach different people and help to market and people. And out of that, one of the events that we collectively created was the Black Wall Street Festival.
Very cool. Aaron, why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Aaron Rogers. I'm the co-founder of the Breed Ent, which is a multi-platinum selling Grammy-nominated production company based out of New Haven, Connecticut. I'm also the co-founder of the Breed Academy and also the Black Wall Street Festival. It's been an honor to serve with Adriane, my partner Rashad, and Slay and the rest of our team these last 3 years. Been nothing less than a blessing, and I'm really looking forward to everything that we have working for the future as well.
Very cool. Rashad?
So I piggyback on what Aaron's saying. I'm the co-founder of the Breed Ent. He ran down the resume for that already. Co-founder of the Breed Academy and co-founder of the Breed, co-founder of Black Wall Street. This wonderful thing we're doing right now alongside Aaron and Adriane.
And Avery, you're the MC, correct?
Avery Slade Washington, host MC with the Breed, also in commercials and creating content for Black Wall Street and all the events and what have you.
Right. Can you give us a brief overview, just talk a little bit about the namesake for this, Black Wall Street, the original Black Wall Street in Greenwood, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and why you thought it was important to talk about that and name this festival after it?
Yeah, so I think historically, when you look at what Black Wall Street districts once were really prosperous business districts in the early 1900s. These were communities where literally everything that someone needed to thrive in their community was right there. You had everything from banks, Black-owned banks. You had movie theaters. You had laundromats, things that people owned and were able to cultivate wealth in that particular community and really bring that wealth to that neighborhood. Those neighborhoods were intentionally destroyed by the government. And when we talk about remedying, what the government did, and me being in a government role, I think that a lot of the name came from the fact that the government can play a role to remedy the wrongs that have happened. And of course, we know Tulsa, Oklahoma, but there are a lot of different districts across the country that really essentially are Black Wall Street districts. And actually, New Haven, if you look at the Dixwell community, that is really like our Black Wall Street district. Used to be a thriving neighborhood with income that really was based in entertainment. So like the jazz scene was really, high there, kind of like the Harlem Renaissance of the Connecticut area. So essentially that's where the name came from, is really to just preserve that culture, to honor what it was, but then in the future being able to do that again, right? In our own way, being able to take from that model and cultivate wealth.
Yeah, so when from Breed, what did it mean to you to name this after Black Wall Street?
To piggyback off what Adrian is saying, just the history, I think that was a great name for the festival to kind of piggyback off the history of what was taken from us and ultimately what set us apart from having to depend on, the people who put us in the bad situation that they already put us in the history of country. So I think that is really cool that, the festival is almost kind of doing the same thing with, like, there's not a lot of resources for Black business out here. There's not a lot of resources for entrepreneurs, but we're taking it into our own hands and creating something that we can, help each other with, not have to depend on anyone else to do so. So
that theme of self-sufficiency almost within the community.
Absolutely.
That's really cool. When you want to talk about what is the Black Wall Street Festival in New Haven? What's it all about? What's going to be happening?
Well, the Black Wall Street Festival in New Haven, the one-day event on the Saturday, is just a big family-oriented event. We call it a big cookout. That's how we call it at our end. But it's just a day full of festivals, full of enjoyment, full of music, full of great food, full of vendors. We have over 240 vendors this year.
Wow.
Yes, so we have that going on. What else? I know I'm missing something. Just Legacy Band is going to be there. Slade Washington can expound on that. He's emceeing the whole day. So yeah, it's just a day full of enjoyment. And what's so great about Black Wall Street is because there are people that had COVID kind of messed up the in-person contact thing for those years, those 3.5, 4 years. So people were seeing people they haven't seen since 2004, 2001. So we're just like a big family reunion. It felt like the last 2 to 3 years for us.
Yeah. And where's this going to be? It's going to be on the Green, or where's the festival?
Correct. Yep.
On the Green. Very cool. And there'll be food and all the stuff going on. Avery, do you want to talk about some of the entertainment that's going to be going on?
Absolutely. So I know from about 12 to 3 or 12 to 4 is a big community portion. So we'll have students coming to perform and just people from the community coming, singing, dancing, and presenting to the people. And then after about 3, 4 o'clock, then Legacy Band will be performing. And there will be DJs. I think we have about 2, 3 DJs that are coming out. So, Legacy Band is performing live music. DJs are coming. And yeah, it's just going to be a great time. So people could come sing, come dance, just have a great time on the Green.
Tulsa Black Wall Street obviously was burned down and like a lot of people died in riots and everything. But as we said, and you pointed out, it's not the only sort of Black Wall Street that there was at the time. What about communities in New Haven and beyond that were affected by redlining by the government during the urban renewal sort of period? Even in New Haven, they put 34 and the roads straight through the Black Jewish neighborhoods in New Haven and displaced broke up a lot of those neighborhoods. What is the history of redlining? How does that play into your urge to do this?
Yeah, I think it's all connected, right? So when we look at, I think it's about understanding exactly what the government intentionally did to destroy Black families and Black communities at large. If we can understand that, then we can understand what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We can understand what happened with redlining and urban renewal, which, you know, devastated our communities and really divided us, right? So this is about unity. This is really about bringing people together, and not just Black people, right? Like there is a power in the economic dollar. And I will say that most people who came to Black Wall Street Festival last year, it was, you know, Black economics, but it's not just Black people, right? This is American history when we look at it, because we are a part of the fabric of this country. And so this is something that we all can own, we can all take part in. And this is about bringing people together for a greater cause, for a greater impact. So I think just in general, that's the foundation of what we're trying to do. We're trying to set right what was wronged. And how do we do that? We do that by cultivating, you know, new businesses. We do that by uplifting pride in our communities. We do that through cultural preservation. We do that through understanding our history, learning from our history, and using that to direct us forward. And so I feel like that's what we're doing. And particularly through this whole week, right? We're not just doing a festival anymore, which that is our largest thing, but we're doing a week of events where there's opportunities to celebrate and to educate, which is why we also have the Empowerment Summit, which is why we also have the film screening. We have these different initiatives to kind of just honor the holistic understanding of what has happened to Black people in this country, but also how we have persevered.
Yeah. Which is, I think is important to point out that it's for other people too, because like I know, at least for me, I grew up in Connecticut. Maybe the textbooks have changed since I was in high school in the 90s, but I never learned anything about Black Wall Street, redlining, any of that stuff in my history classes. So bringing that out is definitely important. Avery, you had something to say?
Yeah, speaking of redlining, I think just the access to information. So, like, for example, there are people that are in these communities that believe that due to their economic situation that they can't purchase a new home, or they can't, you know, level up. And it's just being out there and meeting somebody that's in real estate and getting the information about first time home buyer or low income and things of that nature. It's just about having access to the information. And you can't have the access if you're always hanging around the same people. So, you know, being able to meet new people is kind of the key to accessing.
Talking about some of that, you mentioned like realtors and stuff. Are there going to be like businesses like that as part of this festival?
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's not just crafts and I made this.
There are resource vendors, there are food vendors, and then there are also people, you know, selling goods as well.
Very cool.
We're gonna have an empowerment tent. So last year we had an empowerment tent where people can go and get information. So businesses can go get information to scale. This year, the people hosting the empowerment tent are actually going to be doing voting registration.
Very cool.
So it's another really important thing when it comes to again regaining power and kind of like control. You know, within the Black community, because I'm thinking how you talk about urban renewal, I'm even thinking about Black law after the Reconstruction era and happened there. You know, Black people were thriving during the Reconstruction era. Right. So after the abolition of slavery, we were thriving, and particularly in a political space. That has since died once Black law came into effect. So that's another thing that we're doing is the Empowerment Center, which really combats that whole thing around like political awareness and activism.
Yeah. You mentioned the summit. Can you talk a little bit about some of the other events you have in that week leading up to the big festival?
Today we're starting off. Today's the first day of Black Wall Street Week. We're starting off with an artist showcase, plug and play edition, where artists just come in and bring their music and get their music heard in real time by real professionals. And me and Aaron are judges along with Mizzy Lott. He's a platinum selling producer. Tomorrow we're following up with a film screening outside of the Q House. Wednesday, as Adriane just said, is the investment summit, Powering Our Dollar. Thursday, we're doing a fashion show at Cedar Park. Friday, we're having our entrepreneurial party right at the Canal Boathouse. Saturday, we're having a big festival. I'm sorry, let me backtrack. The entrepreneur after party is at Jazzy's Friday night. Then Saturday, we're following up with the big festival, and then we have the after party at Cedar Park, and then we're ending with a brunch at Jack's Steakhouse downtown.
Wow, that's a lot of stuff going on. Talking about the summit, and empowerment and all that stuff. Do you have like guest speakers coming to do that? Like who's gonna like lead those sessions?
Yeah, we do. We have guest speakers. We have Eric Clemens, who's going to be moderating our keynote panel. Eric
Hmm.
Clemens, co-founder of Concat and Concorp, and is also the one building up the Dixwell Plaza in the Dixwell area.
Oh, cool.
So he's the perfect person to talk about
Hmm.
revitalization in the Black community. So we have a number of different guests. Alicia Clutchfield from Bloom, who is a business owner,
Hmm.
and a number of different people who will be speaking. The sessions will feature AI and technology and how
Hmm.
creatives use AI to their advantage to be able to monetize in their businesses. Also, some mental health things that we're
Hmm.
going to we need to prioritize our mental health as Black and brown people and just as people
Hmm.
in general. A lot of times when we're cultivating businesses or leading initiatives and movements, we're not prioritizing that. So we have a lot of different initiatives that are going to be happening that day.
You are listening to the Municipal Voice on WNHH 103.5 FM. During the event, you've got a lot of vendors selling goods, services, food. Are they all coming from New Haven, or did you cast a wider net?
Most of them are coming from New Haven. I would say about 98%, maybe 97, 98%, but we are starting to get some vendors that are coming from out of town,
Hmm.
and out of state as well. So as the years go on, more people are finding out about the event because we have a lot of attendees that come from out of
Hmm.
state as well. So we're projecting probably by year 5, we'll probably start to have a lot of out of state vendors, but
Mm.
as of right now, a lot of vendors are from New Haven.
Are there other similar events in the area, or is this kind of the first in Connecticut?
I would say there's a lot of events that empower Black businesses. I
Hmm.
don't think that there's any to this capacity, but I definitely would say there's a lot of different organizations that do a
Hmm.
lot of great things to support and to give resources to Black businesses.
Yeah. Do you ever talk with any of those other groups? Do you coordinate with them or just share tips and tricks or anything?
Yeah, so we talked with the Chamber of Commerce. Jesse, he's a great partner. And great on. He's actually a part of the Black Expo.
Hmm.
And they do the annual event as well. We also talked to Ms. Diane Brown at the Stetson Library. She does a lot of programming for
Hmm.
children and Black business in the community. Also this year we've been blessed enough to work with Eric Clemens. He's doing wonderful things in the community. So we've been definitely partnering with a lot of different organizations that have done things that are in alignment with the festival.
This is the third year.
Yes.
Correct.
What are some of the highlights of the first two of these that, were encouraging and made you say, yeah, we got to keep doing this?
I mean, I think the biggest thing for us is that we knew and we know that this festival is needed.
Hmm.
So I think it's the fact that we were just able to do it is enough for us. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Because we know that businesses need these opportunities. We know that these businesses need eyes on them. They need to know, people need to know that these businesses are, here for them to support.
Hmm.
And a lot of the times, it's hard to get a brick and mortar,
Hmm.
down the street, downtown or New Haven itself right now. So it's like for people to even know that these businesses exist is a total win for us. And
Hmm.
it's honestly a blessing to even to create a platform that these businesses can do that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
that's great bringing some of those businesses downtown because, there's definitely some neighborhoods in New Haven. I've lived here forever that I don't go to that often. Like I don't end up there. They could have great things going on that I would never know about. I'm
Right.
sorry. Go ahead.
I think also the highlight is just the growth. So
Mm.
moving from Temple Plaza to the Green, having 30 or 40 vendors and then 150 and then over 240 vendors. I think those are
Mm.
the highlights as well.
Yeah. Adrian, just out of curiosity, I know there's like night markets and the winter things and whatever. 240. Is this the biggest sort of fest that's going on in New Haven this year?
Yeah, I would say hands down it is, particularly when you look at the vendor count. And I
Hmm.
also think when you look at the growth, I don't
Yeah.
think, yeah, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am wrong based on my assessment of knowing what's happening in the city.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
I think we've had the most growth, as Slay pointed out, and we have rapidly grown. And I think the reason is that this is something that the community has asked for. So it's really important to understand, like, we didn't just like pull this from anywhere. We pulled this from listening to the needs of the community, really having our ear to the streets. And actually all three of my friends on here being from New Haven, who know New Haven, who understand New Haven. That is what makes this so special, is because this is coming directly from the people. And so we are growing because of the fact that it's meeting a demand that people have asked for a very, very long time.
Obviously, Adriane works for the city, and this is kind of her job. But for the guys at the Breed, have you done other events before, other community outreach things? Like, how did you decide, like, yeah, we're ready to take on a festival?
Oh, no, you got it. We're gonna say the same thing. You got it, Liz. You got it.
Shout out to Adriane, but she basically put a light on, you know, the things we've been doing for so long. Since we were young, we've been doing things in the community, book bag drives, week events for like artists and things of that nature. So we've always been doing events. Honestly, I just think that this partnership really just put a highlight on what we've been doing over the last, say, 10 years. But I think that what we particularly built with Adriane has been nothing less than the biggest thus far.
That's very cool. So, you know, you have a lot of experience, and you just naturally progressed and gotten bigger over the years until you reached a point where you needed to involve the city and make it a big event. That's great. Adriane, we talked when we had you on last time about the cultural equity plan. How does the festival play a role in that in New Haven and in the greater New Haven area?
Yeah, so I think with the cultural equity plan, you know, if as a reminder, it was something that was written by, you know, a lot of activists in the community, community residents, leaders of the community, particularly those who are from the Black and Brown community. They wrote exactly what it is they wanted to see happen in this city. And one of those things was an expansion of safe spaces and festivals and events and infrastructure, both physical and also like theoretical, happening in the city. And so literally, this is like a direct action item in the plan that we've brought into fruition. But I also think like the main thing is the partnership here, like the collaboration. It's like we can't do it alone. Like, to scale and grow and serve people, we really need to come together. And I feel like we highlight that in the cultural equity plan, that this is really about, when we're looking at about like equitable systems, this is really something that everyone plays a part in and plays a role in. Egos aside, you know, sometimes I think that, you know, major institutions like the government like lead with their ego, and it has to be them, and it has to be in my mindset on that. And I also feel like what's in the cultural equity plan is completely different. I feel like we follow the people, right? And we have to work with them. So I feel like that's why it's a reflection. And also, not to mention, like when we're looking at economics and foot traffic and tourism, this is a major tourism attraction. It's bringing people from all over here to come and witness this festival. And when you bring people here, you bring dollars into the community. So this is something that is positively impacting the economics of our city.
Yeah, definitely. You know, the summer season in New Haven, I think we all get a little bit of a whoosh, the kids are gone and it's quiet, but at the same time, when it's quiet, that means those downtown businesses don't have that influx of students on the daily and stuff. So events like this are important to kind of get them through those hot months. So this is a little bit of a tougher question, but what could towns and cities be doing to do more? Not only to honor, you know, communities like Greenwood and the histories there, but also the histories in places like New Haven and across, you know, all of our towns. There's something like this all over the place. What can we be doing to honor them in other towns?
I believe we just literally just do more. You know what I mean? I think we just have to be more active about curating events that can not only highlight businesses, but to educate businesses. To go back on what Slay was saying, information is key. I believe that a lot of information is kept from the Black community. And I believe that more, you know, events curated throughout the year that can honestly just educate us and to, you know, just shed a light on the things and the resources and the tools that can really help us get to another level. You know what I'm saying? I think that, you know, fun events are cool and all, but I think education is key. You know what I mean? I think we need more information. So I think that more panels, you know, more master classes, things of that nature need to be had in the communities, not just New Haven, but every city. and that can, shed light on the information that's really needed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Avery, what does it
I
mean to
think
you? Go
also,
ahead, Adrian. Yeah.
you want me to, okay, so I'll be quick. I also feel like just making the communities more welcoming. So I know a lot of times when we're doing like DEI work, for example, and a lot of people will put this in that bucket for sure. And talking with other cities who don't demographically look like what New Haven looks like, a lot of times the pushback is, well, our city doesn't look like yours. Our town doesn't have that same makeup, so that doesn't apply to us. But it actually does, because as we know, like the population of our demographics in this country is changing. And so those towns are changing and people are moving into them. And so I feel like if you don't have a community that looks like our community, you can still get prepared. And how do you get prepared? You get prepared by making your city more welcoming. You can at least start there. I know like Aaron always talks about like us just being good hosts, being a good host city that welcomes people of all kinds and has things for people to do that represents all demographics and backgrounds. I feel like that is like the least, that's the low hanging fruit, that if you don't have a community that looks like ours, you can start there.
Yeah. Hey, also, for some of these communities, you're bringing in businesses and stuff, and business is business,
That's right.
It's blackness, but bringing in businesses to these communities is important stuff. It's economic for everybody. So at CCM every year we hold a event we call Representation Matters, and it's a 2-day workshop and training for communities of color to gain insight into running for election and serving on local boards and commissions. Do you think that more people of color should be running for office here in New Haven and beyond?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would any of you consider it?
No.
No. Which is a fair point. Because running for office isn't for everybody.
If they have a debate, I will MC or moderate that. But other than that,
I think there's always a role we can play, right?
Yeah.
Never say never, you never know. But I think that there's always a role, right? At least encouraging people like to explore running for office, or encouraging people to vote and get educated on at least that, because there's so many people who just don't trust the system, so they're not even voting, so they're not going to run because they're not even voting, right? So we need to start with the education piece.
Right.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so obviously running for office isn't for everybody, but if they don't want to get involved on the political side of it, what can people do to help support these businesses and to support efforts like this?
I think one of the things, Adrian, you can help me with this, but I just found out about this that happens at City Hall once a month or once a quarter. But I think that those meetings that happen at City Hall are really important. I think the community needs to start getting more involved. Adrian, what's the
like the hearings, so the legislative hearings, so the Board of Alders legislative hearings.
So like things of that nature, I think businesses could benefit greatly from those, because what's really going on in the city and things of that nature. And just to give you a point, like we're doing this great event, in the city, but I'm still learning a lot about the things that make the city, spin and move. So it's like if I don't know about these things, imagine about the people that aren't, don't have the resources that I have. So it's like that's the thing that's really important, right? It's information. That's really, really the key to this whole thing, because we don't have any power what's really going on in the city that we pay taxes in or we live in. And that's what we have to change.
Yeah. It needs, and most of these meetings, or all of these meetings, are free and available to the public. These
like they're there for you to go to if you have willing to put in the effort. Yeah.
Right. These people are public servants. So that's you. It is your right to know what is going on in your city and your community. So that's why, but that's what we're saying, just the access to the information, that just to know that, okay, they meet at the courthouse on every third Monday at such and such a time. Just knowing that information is important.
And the decisions that are going to affect you and your neighborhood are going to be made in those meetings. Yeah.
Right.
Kind of wrap it all up. And this one will go out to each of you. But how do you feel about the future? Are you optimistic about the future of the Black Wall Street Festival? And are you optimistic about cultural equity in New Haven? Let's just start with Adriane again.
Yeah, I'm first of all, with the festival, I feel like this is, we said it the other day, this is not just a festival, it's a movement. And this is really just the beginning of like so many other services and things to come. Maybe Aaron or Snacks might put a plug in for the Black Wall Street Network that's being developed in the app. that's
Mhm.
being developed, but
Oh,
there are
cool.
more things that are to come. I think we've done a lot of work in the cultural equity space. I mean, honestly, if you just look at this city where it was back in 2020 to where we are
Mhm.
now, there's a transformation happening, particularly in the cultural space. You
Mhm.
have people who are moving back. And literally saying, this is not the city I love. Like there's a different energy here. And I do think it's part of the work that honestly I've been able to do, partnering with the Breed and some other really great curators and
Mhm.
organizers in the city. So I'm very hopeful. I think what bothers me and what keeps me up is if we can't sustain these things, because I
Mhm.
don't feel like one-offs are ever a good thing. It doesn't really impact people for real. So, what does it look like to impact people for generations to come? And that's the
Mhm.
work we're trying to do now.
Aaron?
Yeah, I agree with Adrian. To piggyback what you said about the BWS network, it's an app that we're developing that's launching in the winter 2025. But we're
Mhm.
really excited about it because this will allow us to do and have more impact throughout the year versus this 1 week where businesses can find resources that
Mhm.
they need on the palm of their hand that can help
Mhm.
scale their business, and consumers can easily find Black businesses at the
Mhm.
palm of their hand to support them. So we're just really excited about honestly just making something that people can do on a real time basis
Mhm.
and on a consistent basis to support and scale their businesses. So I feel very, very excited about
Mhm.
the Black Wall Street Festival and the whole just vision that we're building in the movement.
Yeah. Avery, what makes you optimistic
Uh,
about the future?
I just think about, especially when it comes to the growth of the Black Wall Street Festival and businesses in New Haven. There's somebody right now that is not a vendor that
Mhm.
has the idea and is like, you know what? I'm gonna get my stuff together. I'm gonna get my paperwork, certification, or
Mhm.
whatever, and then next year I'm gonna come with my business to
Yeah.
Black Wall Street. So it's inspiring, giving people something to aim for because there's access to all these people. So now
Mhm.
it's just like I have this new business, but I couldn't reach thousands of people on my own. But
Yeah.
now that I'm at Black Wall Street with my business, now I can reach all of these people. And now everyone knows, well, not every, but
Mhm.
essentially everyone knows, or more people than I could have just done on my own. So I'm very, very optimistic about the city of New Haven and Black Wall Street in particular.
Yeah, that's very cool. With the growth over the 3 years, you got to figure that some of those vendors this year are people who were attendees last year or the year before and saw
Right,
that and said, I could do that.
right.
Like, this is a possibility for me. Yeah, definitely. Rashad, what makes you optimistic about the future of the festival and equity in New Haven?
Matt, what makes me optimistic is because after the first year, 2022,
Hmm.
we had a vendor that didn't have a store. He was selling clothes out of his trunk in front of
Hmm.
his house. And then the following year after Black Wall Street, he was able to acquire a brick and mortar. So
Very
little
cool.
stories like that shows us that all right, this is really working. This is
Hmm.
really something that's really big and becoming big. So I'm just interested to see what's going to happen after this festival. How much
Hmm.
money is accumulated? How much money is circulating the whole green or the you know what I'm saying? So I'm just
Hmm.
excited to see what's going to come after this one.
Yeah, that's cool to think that it's not just, super established vendors there, but some of these vendors, it's an opportunity for them to kind of field test the viability of their business. They
Hmm.
do well
Hmm.
at the fest, and then by the next year, they said, yeah, this can work, and they get the brick and mortar. Very cool
Exactly.
stuff. So I'll go back to Adrian for this one. So one more time for everybody at home, when and where is the festival, and what's the website they can check out?
Yeah, so the annual Black Wall Street Festival is August 17th, 12 to 8 p.m. on the New Haven Green.
Hmm.
The week long of events, which is
Hmm.
Black Wall Street Week, starts
Hmm.
August 12th, and we're going to August 18th. And you can check us out at bwsfestival.com.
And find the schedule and all the events there.
Everything is
Yeah.
there.
Well, great. Thanks to you all for coming on talking about Black Wall Street, and I hope I see you there at the festival. Sounds like a good time.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Matt.
Thank
Thank
All
you.
right,
you.
later, guys. The Municipal Voice is a co-production by CCM and WNHH 103.5 FM. Christopher Gilson is our producer, Harry Draws is on the boards, and I'm Matt Ford, your host. Be sure to check out our Facebook page and give us a like, and watch out for our CCM chat series on our YouTube page.